today we're talking about abundance, or as Joe likes to say, abundance. Our topic or our title is Rise Up and Dance. So I'm going to ask you the question, what is abundance to you? What does it mean? What does it look like? I thought, as a hospice chaplain, I might be dealing with patients that might have a different perspective. And so I went and I started asking patients, what is abundance? And the answer I got was not unexpected, but it was interesting. One lady said to me, abundance is me knowing that God is right here, laying in bed with me all the time, and that I have the energy and the presence of God. I had another lady say to me, abundance means that I have enough food to eat, I have a roof over my head, and I have people around that love me. I had another woman say to me, you know, I'm 81 years old, and I never thought at this point in my life that I would be part of such a wonderful, loving family. But that's what abundance was. Now, honestly, and granted, these are individuals that are probably at the end of their life, not at the beginning, and if I had asked a bunch of 25-year-olds, I might have got a different answer. But not one of those individuals that I spoke to said, lots of money in my bank. Like, So I remember when I was in putting my brain around the concept of abundance. And I remember standing in the shower, because that's where I do a lot of my prayer work. And I started thinking, well, what is abundance? If I live in an abundant universe, what does that mean? And I was breathing, and I thought, oh, I'm breathing. There is an abundance of air. I can breathe all the air that I want to breathe. Because we live in an abundant universe, I have an abundance of air. And if I step outside on a clear day, I have an abundance of sunshine. It doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter what I've done. It doesn't matter what kind of person or how I interact. I get to have all the air and all of the sunshine that I want. That's abundance. Okay. So why don't we have everything we want, everywhere we want, with everything? And I would say that it's because of our minds. It's because of our limited thinking. It's because I can't possibly imagine having that. Well, okay, because we know that the universe says, okay, right? That's what God says, okay. So when I keep my mind in this smallness, then that's what I get in my life is smallness. Now, the challenge is, if we know that the universe is abundant, because that's one of our fundamental principles in science of mind, the abundant world, if we know that, then how do we open ourselves up to get the abundance? Well, I would say, I forgot to get that from you. I'm going to take charge. Yes. You didn't get fired, you just got a moment's rest. That we do it in three ways. We do it in awe, experiencing awe, gratitude, focusing on gratitude, and celebration. Rejoice in the majestic power of the divine presence within and all around you. Ernest Holmes says this. Because there is abundance in awe. So what is awe? Awe is a feeling from the vast mystery of life. The feeling that comes from the vast mystery of life. There's actually studies done on the concept of awe and what it does to our body. It neurologically changes our brain when we feel awe. So where do you get this awe from? Let me just give you a couple facts. Did you know that there are 200 billion trillion stars in this universe? Okay, think about that. Wow, that's awe. Or we could go the other way. Did you know there are 7 times 10 to the 27th power atoms in our body? Yes, wow. That means 7 with 24 zeros after it. That is amazing. Wow. So when we actually are in awe, we know it because a couple things happen physiologically to us. One, we may get those goosebumps. We all know the goosebumps. You might get tears, and they're tears something different. They're not sadness tears, but they actually call them tears of grace. And you will also, it also does this thing, it shuts down the default mode network in our brain. It shuts it off. And that is the part of us that is self-absorbed. The me section of our brain, where I'm thinking about me. Well, when we're in awe, it just shuts off. And actually, we've proven that in your awe state, or when you're in awe states, that you actually are more interconnected with your environment. So they did an experiment. You know, I love experiments. So they did an experiment in Berkeley, and they took a bunch of students, and they brought them to an eucalyptus, thank you. The eucalyptus grove. Sometimes the words don't come, right? So we're in a eucalyptus grove, and half the students are looking up, and you know they have those little tiny leaves that kind of flutter, and you can see the blues and the greens when the wind goes through it, right? And then half of them were looking at the science building. And 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes, they stood in this gaze. And what they found is the ones that were looking at the eucalyptus, when they had an accident that was done on purpose, happened right outside. So this guy walks by and he drops a bunch of pens. Statistically significant more, the people that were in the awe helped. Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. One more story about awe. So there was another science or experiment done where they took vets that had PTSD and inner city teenagers, you know, the poor of the poor that had never seen outside of the city, and they took them on a camping trip. And they did the rapids down the American River. And they saw these kids had never seen this before, a river and fish and the rapids, those big white ones. And then they camped and they sat in and they looked at the stars and the abundance of the stars. And then after everything was said and done, and they were all back at home, they did survey, and they found that the veterans had 30% less PTSD symptoms. And the teenagers had less anxiety and more hope, just from one experience of awe. So where do we find this awe? Where do you find awe? You've experienced it. Where do you get it?
Grandchildren.
The awe of watching children grow. It's amazing. Where else?
Great performances.
Absolutely great performance, whether in theater or in music. Watching a symphony can absolutely give me those goosebumps. Where else? Museums, looking at history and where we've come. Nature. You know, I come from Las Vegas, and I come down that Mount Charleston Pass, and there's that huge blue mountain. Every time, it takes my breath away. So awe is everywhere. We just have to be open and enough to observe it so that we can feel it. So awe is outside of us, the amazement of the external world. But what about gratitude? Gratitude happens inside of us, not outside of us, right? So if you develop or devote yourself to scouting blessings, you will find them up the wazoo. This is a quote from Pam Kraut, who is Thank and Grow Rich. When I first thought it was Think and Grow Rich, no, it's Thank and Grow Rich. And so there is power, there is abundance in gratitude. So I have a story for you. In a bustling city, a young woman named Mia was consumed with getting the promotion, getting to the top, moving forward. And she was so obsessed with this that she was under stress and anxiety and always a little on edge. And one day, when she was having a very heavy, stressful day, she had wandered up to her attic, and she found a notebook with handwriting in it that looked like her grandmother's. And so she started reading it, and the journal was full of little moments, like a beautiful sunrise, or a cup of tea, or a kind gesture from a stranger. And this intrigued Maya. So she thought, I'm going to try it. And so she started to do a journal. She committed to writing 3 things down every day that she was grateful for. And the really interesting, the things that she noticed even more every time was like the warm cup of coffee, or the laughter that she shared with coworkers, or even the colors of that beautiful sunset. And one day, she was challenged with a project that normally would have overwhelmed her and stressed her out. But she took a moment to reflect on that gratitude journal. And she had this epiphany. I have this amazing team that I work with. I have the talent and the skills and the knowledge to overcome this particular task. And we're creative working together. We can overcome this. And what ended up happening is she came with some creative, intuitive ingenuity that did actually become wonderful in her end project. And the people she was working for were amazed. But it didn't stop there, because she took that gratitude to her family and to the community. And the interesting thing is that her relationships, because she became grateful for the interactions with her family, they grew. The connection and the relationship became stronger. And it didn't even stop there, because people were watching and they were seeing what was happening. They became more grateful. And the more grateful that they became, they saw things happen in their lives. And so this one pebble that dropped became the ripple effect, because Grandma, she was grateful, affecting Mia, affecting her coworkers, affecting all of the individuals in Mia's life. And one day Mia was thinking, and she was still motivated, but she was happy, and her stress level was less. Why? Because she focused on the little things in life that made her happy. Where is your gratitude? Do you take time to honor and celebrate the little things in life? If you don't, I would highly encourage you to do so. And I've tried a lot of different methods. So I've tried the journaling and the noticing of the negative, and then making myself come up with 10 different things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes being grateful just means shifting the energy from one place to the other. So, I get stressed when I'm in the car. I don't know how many of you can relate to that. Driving on the freeway, running late for whatever thing I was running late for, and I can feel the anxiety and the stress inside of me. And so, one of the things I do to get myself back into gratitude is I sing in the car. I turn off all the radio and everything, and I sing. And there's one song that I sing because it shifts me every time. And you may know it. It is, I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning and lay my head to rest, I am blessed. I am blessed. And I will sing it again and again and again until I feel the shift. And that may be 5 or 6 minutes. But I get myself back to a place of gratitude. It's powerful, right? There is a laugh of God. Let us laugh it. There is a song of the universe. Let us sing it. There is a hymn of praise. Let us praise it. There is a joy, a beauty. There is a deep, abiding peace Let us experience it. Ernest Holmes. And so we can have the awe and we can have the gratitude, but are we acknowledging it? Are we celebrating it? Now, celebration looks very different. It can, right? Celebrating could look like, David and I 2 years ago had our 10-year wedding anniversary, and we had a big old party. We did a renewal of the vows. We had it catered. We had friends. We had drink. We had dancing, and it was beautiful. So that's a celebration. But David texts me, my David, he texts me every day on his way home from work, and I say, yay. I do text that back, yay. And that is a celebration. That's a celebration that my lovely David, my wonderful David is coming home to me. Every day we can celebrate. We can celebrate by dancing in the park. We can celebrate by singing in the car. We can celebrate in so many ways. What are some ways that you celebrate for those little things? Stephanie.
I just finished Tony Robbins' thing, and you dance.
You dance.
You dance for 4 days straight.
Oh, I love it. Dancing.
And it creates a state change.
Yes.
Your state of mind is just out the window, and you are having fun.
Absolutely. So we can dance. What's another way we can celebrate?
Sing in the shower.
You can sing in the shower. Absolutely. Sing in the shower. What's another way? One more.
Sharing experiences.
Sharing experience, having conversation. Have you ever gone and had coffee with somebody and just laughed?
Mm-hmm.
That is a celebration of our abundance. I love it. So there is abundance in celebration. And we're in that time of year, right? Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, by the way. Yay. And there are people in the world that would go, ooh, not a happy time, because it represents something different for them. But I would say, let's put that on its head. Let's say that Thanksgiving isn't about Plymouth Rock, even though I'm grateful that America exists. But let's say Thanksgiving is about being grateful for what we have in this moment. Let's be in awe of the amazing things that are happening around us. Let's be grateful for the abundance that we have in our life. And whether we are with ourselves on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, or we're in a huge family gathering, either way, let's celebrate. So here is our affirmation for the day, or this week, I guess 2 weeks. I celebrate and dance with and as sure abundance of life. So let's everyone stand up. And we're going to say it 3 times. And each time we say it, I want you to mean it and feel it more. Are you ready? So the first time is just for the feeling of it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I celebrate and dance with as the sheer abundance of life. I celebrate and dance with as sheer abundance of life. I celebrate and dance with and as the sheer abundance of life. One more time. I celebrate and dance
with and as the sheer
abundance of life. Well done. Do you feel it? Oh, excellent.
And dance.
And dance. Woo-hoo. Dance. Go ahead and have a seat. So let's pray. So knowing that God is all there is, God and the source of the universal energy that flows in and of and through all things, that is life, that is abundance, that is love, that is truth, that is all. And knowing that to be the truth, I know that I am of and from and in and as this universal energy is who and what I am. And in this knowingness, I declare right here and right now, indulge in the awes of life, that we are part of the whole, with gratitude and celebration and the knowingness that we are a perfect expression of God. For this, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I release my word to the law, knowing it is done, done, done. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.